Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got your rundown for Monday Night Raw this week on the road to Clash in Paris. Also, we've got kind of an update, or I guess maybe just sort of a discussion on this whole Karrion Kross WWE departure situation. Once again, WWE playing with the idea, or maybe it's just us playing with the idea that, is this thing real? Is it fake? Is he actually gone from the company? Is he going to be brought back soon? He has a wildly popular, it's already at 656,000 views, and it just came out, I think, yesterday. This Karrion Kross little documentary that's
it came out over the weekend.
It came out over the over the weekend. I keep on thinking today's Monday, but we're reviewing Raw. So
yeah, it's Tuesday.
Anyways. It came out over the weekend. I just said yesterday because it says one day ago on YouTube. They're playing with time and space, man. I don't know what YouTube.
I mean, if it's like 47 hours ago,
and still technically be a day. I guess.
Yeah, it hasn't exactly hit the 2-day mark.
Right.
Say it's one day. Yeah.
Regardless, it's doing very, very well because a lot of people want the scoop on Karrion Kross. We're gonna try to piece that together. But first, oh boy. Well, first, actually, let's mention this really quick because we brought this up last week as a possibility, and this is sort of a stay tuned update. But we might do a watch along for Triple Mania this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm hoping by tomorrow you'll have like a definitive answer. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
right
for sure. Yeah, we'll give a definitive answer in the Hot Takes episode going up tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, possum. We might be doing a watch along for the old Triple Mania. Back at it now. The WWE. Or at least they're on the precipice of owning. They're sort of acting like they own the company at this point.
Yeah,
so
basically.
For all intents and purposes.
Who knows if all the contracts have been signed? But yeah, it seems like.
But first, and of course, they're doing that because they want to be the end-all, be-all in pro wrestling, and they're sticking it to the competition once again, Larson, because they are booking seemingly a main roster premium live event opposite AEW's All Out. What's the latest?
Yeah. So yes, it seems WWE is undeterred when it comes to booking shows opposite AEW pay-per-views. Because next month, WWE is bringing out huge guns to counter All Out. Post Wrestling reports that WWE is putting on a premium live event September 20th, that is the same day as All Out. It's going to be in Indianapolis. So Dave Meltzer added that John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. We thought maybe that would be the match at Clash at Paris. No, apparently it's Cena and Logan Paul in Paris. Cena and Brock is slated to take place that show, the unannounced premium live event on September 20th. Dave said the following on Wrestling Observer Radio, quote, "It can change, but the main event for this show is Brock Lesnar and John Cena. So it's a big one," which is why Brock's not in Paris. It's because of this. They wanted him for this show, not for the Paris show, and that's where Logan Paul got the gig.
So, as we have talked about this WWE counter-programming strategy with AEW, you had once said, or you'd said several times, well, let's see if they would ever do this. Because, like, for a while, it was like, we'll just toss some NXT shit against them. In this latest situation, it was NXT, but then, like, later on in the night, you had the Goldberg thing. Now, it looks like they're going to be doing a pretty huge match with Cena and Brock opposite an AEW pay-per-view. So you get your wish, Larson. They're sending out.
Well, it's not something I initially wished to happen.
It's one of their biggest guns now.
But just from a strategic standpoint, if you want to counter program what WWE is viewing as their competition, you don't put out your developmental promotion to do that. If you want to effectively counter program and try to drive viewership away from the competition to your product, no shade at NXT. A lot of people like it, but the viewership is a fraction of what the main roster viewership is on a weekly basis. And maybe WWE thought, well, the viewership for NXT is similar to AEW. That's the competition. No. I at this point, this is what I kind of was given what happened last time in terms of so much of the buzz coming out of that weekend. was, it was All In and it was Evolution. Nobody talked about the NXT show.
You got to wonder if they regret not putting Evolution up against AEW, given, hindsight's everything, obviously, but given the tremendous buzz that Evolution had, you got to wonder if they're like, darn it, we should have done this. I mean, they tried counter-programming with the Goldberg thing. And
kind of, but by the point Saturday night's main event started, it was the main event of All In. Right?
Yeah, but I think the original intention, because didn't they move All In's start time
earlier in the day?
Yeah. So I guess that was their intention. And it's funny because, we had talked about, Brock's return, obviously last week pretty extensively. And I think I made the point similar to Goldberg. Well, they just, every opportunity they get to wheel out what would be considered an attraction to boost ticket sales, just like they did with the Rocket Chamber. We need a boost in ticket sales because we want to keep on charging as much as humanly possible. We want people to put these premium live event tickets on a credit card, 30% APR. We want them to use Klarna to pay for these things. We want them to spend the kind of money they'd spend at Disney on a 5-match banger. And so in order to do that, sometimes we got to dust off Brock Lesnar, and wheel him out and have him up against John Cena now, just like they had Goldberg against Gunther at that last one. And so, but now this time it's against an AEW pay-per-view. On one hand, if you look at what happened last time, AEW, I don't remember if the actual numbers came out, but they were speculating it was going to be like the third or fourth highest.
I think that's what it was, like 175,000 buys.
I think that was like the early indication was 175. I just don't remember if there was an actual final number that came out.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Okay, but it was really high. I think barring the Punk pay-per-views, it was like this was going to be in there. And so I don't know. I'd be kind of interested to know exactly what demographics are. To a degree, there's a part of me that's, glass half full, I guess, in that if WWE were to run this, apparently it might be bad blood, right? If they were to do this Brock Cena thing, and it's on its own weekend, then you own the weekend, and I just sort of feel like that's a bigger win for them than having to share. AEW kills it on their pay-per-views. Yeah. They do.
Yeah.
WWE, you can't say the same thing because the wrestling just isn't really on the same level. It's not what they try to do. Some of it is. The Evolution card had a ton of good matches. That's why I think it's a better fit against AEW. But, if Brock and Cena go out there, Brock hasn't been in a ring in God knows how long, 2 years or whatever, 16 months, whatever it's been, over a year. And is it going to be him and Cena just gasping for air? Is this going to be a match that's worth a damn? Is the marquee value and the story that they might be able to tell in there, is that going to be a buzzworthy enough thing? Are they going to continue? Are they going to load this card up with 4 or 5 other matches that are just really buzzworthy affairs? They have the potential to do that, but they're going to be sharing the buzz with AEW. The glass half full thing is both companies are going to have that fire. You'd like to think they'd have that fire under them to every single match we put out there, we're going to put on a banger. Let's ease up on the video packages and commercials maybe because we want to get the goodwill from the fans. We want to get the good buzz. But this is going to be the biggest test on if this strategy, that's going to be it. This is going to be the thing. If the numbers drop, because here's the thing about All Out. All Out's not All In.
No.
All In, they were building for ages, for a very long time.
Yeah.
And All Out, what are the matches there?
Well, we still have Forbidden Door before that.
We still have Forbidden Door. And so without a real idea as to how hot the build is going to be, We don't really know. But the pay-per-views usually deliver. And this is going to, let's assume that AEW has a standard level of buzz for All Out. And they got a couple of hot matches potentially. They're going to be doing everything they can to steal the buzz of the weekend. And you'd think that WWE is going to try to do everything they can to steal the buzz for the weekend, which should, in theory, mean just really quality wrestling.
You'd hope so. So apparently the updated numbers for All In Texas, 180 to 185,000.
Okay. All right.
So good numbers for AEW.
Really good. Yeah. And insanely good. Yeah.
Typically your typical AEW pay-per-view gets around 100,000 buys.
Sure.
And that's very consistent. And you'd think that's the most loyal AEW fan base that's buying each and every pay-per-view every month.
That by the way, just to cut you, that right there to me, it's like you can look at the NXT and AEW ratings, but like I don't know what kind of numbers NXT premium live events would pull as a pay-per-view,
Yeah.
100,000 people willing to part $50 a month. That's fucking nuts. And then you can juice that up to 180 on your biggest show of the year. That's in this day and age.
That's
in
really
this
good.
Market. That's
Really good.
insane. So I'm sorry, continue.
So, I mean, I would just guess if, given the consistency of AEW's pay-per-view numbers, that's their most loyal fan base. And I would be pretty surprised if a sizable portion of that loyal fan base would be like, nah, I want to see Brock Lesnar wrestle instead.
Oh, yeah.
So in terms of counter-programming with the idea of like, well, let's see if we can chip away at AEW's numbers. I don't know how successful that's going to be, because bringing Brock back is one of those things I think the AEW fans kind of like talk shit about WWE about,
Yeah.
It's like, well, they can't. WWE is not about the best wrestling product in the ring. It's about the sports entertainment, the spectacle, the marquee value,
And the soap opera element to it. If there's
soap
a
opera element
hot
of it, too.
feud, like right now you got the Seth versus Punk stuff, I think is really, really good. I think it's really fun stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. The opening segment last night on Raw was way too long, but beyond that.
Oh, yeah, we didn't need all that.
No. So I just don't know what WWE could put out there opposite AEW to really seriously chip away at that 100,000.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
I think you're right. I think to a degree, it's just that's AEW's audience right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, given that this isn't All In. I mean, I guess maybe the more interesting comparison will be next year's All In, because we have kind of like a baseline. Okay, this was going to be the show where their big angle paid off. Mox was going to lose that title. Plus, you have a bunch of other huge matchups. Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Was it Okada versus, Kenny versus Okada?
Yep.
And so you got All Out coming up. If I think if they get 100,000, you stood pat, you won. You did what you're supposed to do. But I agree
if you held
with you.
the line, you get the W. Yeah.
I think at this point, AEW's audience is AEW's audience, and I'm sure there's plenty of crossover between the two. But I feel like that 100,000, they make that $50 a special event that they're going to do, because guess what? WWE, you don't have to pay anything. Just for Peacock or whatever, and then you could watch it later. And on top of that, you get a 5-minute recap on Monday Night Raw to kick things off. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Or you can watch like the highlights on YouTube. So the way WWE is consumed, I think also benefits AEW trying to get those pay-per-view numbers, because they make those things, hey, $50, that makes it a special event, as opposed to the $12 I'm paying for Peacock, where it's like, they do one of these every 2 weeks, seemingly, which is not true, but like the amount of shows that they put on, it kind of feels like that.
I mean, also, like with Peacock, within 40 minutes of the show ending, you can watch it.
Yeah.
On demand. It's a pretty quick turnaround in terms of the on-demand aspect of the premium live events of Peacock. So, I mean, you can watch All Out if you're willing to stay up another 3 hours after finishing All Out, depending on what part of the world you live in.
Yeah.
You can watch unnamed WWE Premium Live event on September 20th right after, because like what's really, I mean, is anything like it's really noteworthy going to happen there? I don't know. I guess it's possible.
Yeah,
but it's probably just going to be 5 matches of varying qualities, and maybe they'll try to do an angle at the end of the show to pop some interest. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at this point, I mean, I'm not going to say it's necessarily apples and oranges, but certainly it's, Fuji versus, fucking Granny Smith or whatever. It is sort of different, It's like it's sort of different entities. And I do think there's some validity to the idea that, hey, you know what? Both these companies are going to try to kill it. And I think that kind of benefits AEW because it's like, hey, it's not an AEW weekend. It's a wrestling weekend. Everybody wants to know on the conversation. And this sort of speaks to like the general conversation about wrestling amongst nerds. Like, oh man, the buzz, WWE, but AEW's running, And so I don't know. It's not AEW's weekend. It's not WWE's weekend. It's just, oh man, there's a lot of wrestling going on this weekend. I don't feel like it drowns out AEW though,
No, if anything, it's a situation where, depending on how the weekend is marketed, it could get people interested. Oh, there's a head-to-head battle going on here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the narrative.
Yeah, and people might be more interested in what's going on because of that. And yes, will it potentially bring more viewers to WWE? Maybe. Same could be true for AEW. More people might check out AEW because, this is WWE's competition because they're going head-to-head with them.
I feel like it skews more in favor in terms of like advertising wrestling weekend to AEW than it does like WWE. Especially, I'll put it this way. There's a bigger possibility that people will tune into WWE and be like, what is this? Because sometimes you get a Cody versus Cena 2. Sometimes you get a Cody versus Cena 1.
Yeah.
And you don't know which one you're going to get. And so Brock versus Cena, in my opinion, has a bigger chance ultimately of being a Cody Cena 1 where it's like, God damn, these guys are gassed within 3 minutes. Now, Cena did a killer job not immediately getting gassed in that Cody match. I thought the Cody match was awesome.
Yeah, it was really
good. But you throw Brock in there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm put off by the guy. I know there's a lot of other people are. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people are like, oh man, no, it's great. And hey, that's great for you, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Seeing them in the ring one more time, hey, that's cool. I don't know what our programming strategy is going to be on that one. I really don't. We haven't talked about it.
Yeah, that's something I guess it depends on a lot of things. I don't know. Nature of the card. I don't know exactly. Or the cards, I should say.
Sure.
But ever since WWE's been doing these attempts to program opposite AEW shows, I've been saying for a while, if more than anything else, it legitimizes AEW as their competition. Imagine if in 2005 TNA had a show and WWE's like, we got to run opposite them.
Yeah.
You just legitimized TNA way more than you otherwise would have by just letting them be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like WWE was putting on a show, January 4th in the middle of the night in 2018, 2019 or 2017, 28 to like counter the buzz of New Japan, which didn't have the kind of, North American presence that AEW has, obviously. But I was just reaching for an example there. But yeah, I mean, look, this is the closest thing that there's been to a WCW, and in all honesty, AEW is nowhere close to challenging WWE. It's as like, oh, we're gonna get a bigger money deal than you guys. We're gonna get a bigger size of the audience. They're nowhere close to that, and that's fine. Being number two as a multi-million-dollar company pulling in profits like that, that's a great place to be.
It is.
So yeah, I don't really know what WWE accomplishes with all this from their standpoint, But yeah, hey, if it keeps on going, then both companies will be more incentivized to put on just really good, buzzworthy products like WWE did with Evolution. That was a killer show.
It was really good.
And AEW had a killer show that weekend, and it's like, hey, we all got to eat pretty good that week. Well, Goldberg evidently didn't get to eat good because he's been complaining about it. Has it been 2 weeks yet? Is Bill allowed to talk about that stuff?
I feel like it has been. Just wait.
Did we get an email from him? He wants to come here and go in and Raw and talk about it? All twitchity.
I noticed.
I'd be asking him, I pick up on that kind of stuff. I'd be like, what are you looking at?
I know.
What are you looking at?
I'm so annoyed by it. What are you looking at over there?
Can you not do the chew stuff on our show? Yeah. This is a respectable program, Mr. Goldberg.
And interview.
And then we'd be like, hey, we got a special guest, Bret the Horseman Hart.
Oh, wow.
just turned into a clown show. He's like, I came here to air my grievances.
We'll air them to Bret Hart here.
Not so fast, Bill. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna talk about Killer Kross, Karrion Kross. Who is he now? I don't know what he is. In just a moment here, we do have some sponsors this week, though. So let's talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Delete Me, Steve.
Yes.
We're living in an era where your data is a commodity. Anyone on the internet can buy your private details from data brokers, and I'm talking about your name, your contact info, your social security number, even information about your family members.
But with Delete Me, you can protect your privacy. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable.
Tell me about it. I found out the hard way. My privacy is a huge deal for me, so few things make me as angry as getting one of those letters in the mail saying that my personal data has been breached yet again. In fact, I can think of a few times that someone has tried to use my identity to buy something. It's incredibly frustrating. But using Delete Me to remove my private data from data broker sites helps protect me from having something like that happen again in the future. And you can take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me.
Now at a special discount for our listeners today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting RAW to 64000. The only way to get 20% off is to text RAW to 64000. That's RAW to 64000. Message and data rates may apply.
And this episode is sponsored by Cash App. Steve, I know you're an accomplished artist, and you've customized a variety of things with your fantastic artwork. But how about this? Now that Cash App Card offers a personalization feature, what would you put on your own custom-designed Cash App Card? Well, while you think about that, let me offer this. If you weren't up to speed already, Cash App is way more than just a safe way to send and receive money. With the Cash App Card, you can unlock tons of perks without all the fees. Enjoys benefits like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales, Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter, to name a couple of recent examples, plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you're probably already spending money on.
That's right. Cash App also adds security to your money by declining suspicious card transactions and sending you a notification to make sure the payment is really you. If your card is ever lost or stolen, you can lock it with just one tap right in the app.
So spend with confidence with the Cash App Card today. For limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code GOINGRAW in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App.
Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Direct deposit roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cashapp.com/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
All right, let's talk Karrion Kross, Steve.
Oh.
There's a lot to get through here. So, of course, after weeks of reports, rumors, speculation, Karrion Kross confirmed that his contract, as well as Scarlett's contract with WWE, expired on August 10th. And I think it's about 71 or 72 minute long video he uploaded to his YouTube, detailing quite a bit of frustration on his part in terms of how his creative and his fairly organic kind of push from the fans, if you want to call it that, was kind of reaching its crest around the time of his contract expiring. So I guess before we can talk about the reports of work versus shoot aspect of all this, I watched the whole thing yesterday, and he's really good at this fan outreach. Not just in terms of this video, which is really well produced, but I would say probably 75% of the video is him at events, doing stuff backstage. When he and Scarlett are leaving a venue, engaging with his fans, and beyond offering his perspective on this ongoing saga of his contract expiring, it really is kind of the thesis statement is that I gathered is this is the fan base that I have now. This is a fan base I can bring to the company. Here's my value as a performer to this company because I have this fervent fan base that is chanting my name at shows during post-show for SummerSlam. Essentially, you'd be fools, WWE, not to capitalize on this.
Yeah, he's really good at self-promotion, obviously. He had a documentary about his Bloodsport / WrestleMania weekend that came out around WrestleMania. And it's like you said, it's so well produced. He's very media savvy. And yeah, I mean, this is all, that one is at 437,000 views. The one that he did this weekend, which is titled "My WWE Contract Ends Today," is already at 659,000 views. Very impressive numbers. Evidence that, yeah, that fan base is real. We all know it. We've all seen it. The big question, of course, is, will WWE bring him back? Is this a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a real deal? What's the situation here? What do we know?
Okay, so we got one report here from WrestleVotes who said, quote, "For what it's worth, there are people within WWE corporate with no ties to creative or anything storyline-wise who are under the impression that Karrion, Kross, and Scarlett are no longer with the company." So I guess there's people within, I don't know what they call WWE headquarters now. Is it Titan Towers 2?
I don't know what they call it, yeah.
Meanwhile, Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio, the feeling amongst some talent backstage is that this is all an angle. That's what Dave had to say. These transcripts come to you from WrestlingNews.co. The belief in WWE is he's going to be back, but, we'll see. They're not telling anyone anything, but everyone is pretty skeptical. It's like, are they working the boys on this if he comes back? You could say yes, but it's not like they're being fooled. They're just sort of like, we don't know, but we figure he's going to be back. We kind of figure it's an angle, but we don't really know. Now, I don't recall at any point during Kross's video where he just says in very direct terms, I was never offered another contract. Mm-hmm. He is interviewed at one point by a podcast, and he just says, it was around the time frame of Meltzer reporting that he was offered a deal.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, a lot of what you're reading on the internet is not true.
Speaking of which, Sean Ross Sapp had mentioned, here it is, in a little QA thing, which dropped this morning. Somebody said, do you think Kross is legitimately gone or is the situation at work? He says, I think as of the time I answer this question, Sunday, August 10th. Okay, so that's when he actually wrote it up. His deal has expired and he's not in WWE, but I do think he could be brought back. He says, but as of now, it's seemingly very real. There are elements to it that they've never done in a work. And I believe he said something about, here we go, about the WWE's internal roster. He said, because somebody asked, is it standard for WWE to immediately move former wrestlers to the alumni section of the website, or does it take time? He says, I believe they did it to sell the Jey Uso angle a while back. I think he's still referring to Kross. However, I've never heard of WWE pulling someone's name off their internal roster to sell an angle. He says, I don't doubt that to be something the company will do in the future, though. I don't think there are any bounds they will go to in order to protect whatever work they want in the future, so that's their right to do so. If WWE knows, and I'm sure they do, that like Sean Ross Sapp reports on the internal roster stuff, it's entirely likely that they would then go ahead and pull the name off the internal roster to try to sell this. I mean, again, if you want to say, hey, what a great way to offer up another surprise and potentially work a big Karrion Kross angle for their quote unquote return, then go to every length possible. Have Kross release this. Have Scarlett write the Instagram post where she's very sincere about this is less a locker room and more of a family. Do everything that you would possibly do to indicate that this could be a real deal before you bring him back. The flip side of that is, will people be sitting around waiting for that to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and maybe that just sort of fades away? I know there was also reporting that there are indie companies out there who are like, I'm gonna wait on like trying to hit him up for an appearance because I don't necessarily know if this is actually true or not. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Are there any things that could potentially happen, barring him going to New Japan or, of course, AEW, that would sort of seal the deal in terms of like, oh, because at this point, dude, even if he goes to TNA, that's not really, it's like, well, they have a very close working relationship with WWE. He could do that while he's still, under consideration for, being brought back immediately, or while they have an angle being played out. I mean, there's a lot of different ways this can go. And I'm just sort of, obviously, we're very much on the outside looking in. For us, it's sort of like, well, if he comes back, he comes back. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm not going to hold my breath over it. But I think there's some really cool stuff they could do in terms of working everybody. And at this point, I guess the locker room just has to deal with, well, you know what? I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. And that's just not not my pay grade, I guess. If they're going to work the boys, so to speak. Yeah. That's just part of the new culture there to
that could be
keep the shit under wraps.
That could be. You see that Kross has reopened his pro wrestling tee shop, and you're like, oh, okay, that's an indication that, he and Scarlett are actually free agents. Just days before his contract expiring, WWE was promoting his book on their programming, and apparently there is some limitations to his book tour upcoming, and some appearances he can make that I can't remember exactly the exact context, but some people thought that might be indicative of something more than just, obviously his contract's expiring.
Paul Heyman talking him up so much on his Ariel Helwani appearance to me is also like, maybe he's just trying to give the guy some good steam, some good momentum getting out of his contract, or maybe there's something more to that, I
mean, as I mentioned, the thesis of this 70-minute video that Kross put up is essentially, look at the brand I've developed around the Karrion Kross character. And while that could pretty much be speaking directly to WWE, because at times, he says, I want to end my career here in WWE. I want to stay here. It can also serve the purpose of saying to other wrestling promotions, look at the fan base I can bring to your company. That will follow me to your company.
You have the potential now with the idea of expand, and I know that this is considered by many, and I think with much validity, to use expiring contracts as a plot device. And I understand, like in the case of Ashanti the Adonis, his contract expired. Now he can go wherever he wants. Nobody's saying, oh, is this a work or a shoot? Because of the way he was utilized by the company. And, he didn't have the same fan reaction that Karrion Kross has, even though, I read the Fightful report. People speak very glowingly of what Adonis did, what Ashanti did in his last run, even in NXT, a hard worker, training on his own time, et cetera, et cetera. And so, hopefully he'll find a place where he can flourish. But with Kross, because there is that big fan reaction, you have this sort of situation where you can do kind of a controlled Cody / Drew light situation where his contract expires. You do everything you can, including, hey, now I got permission to open a pro wrestling tee shop, because that's one example of how of what would happen if we were released. We do the Instagram posts. I do the documentary. So we do everything we possibly can to make this look like, oh, this is a deal, so that when we bring him back, holy shit, and you run a big angle with him where and I'm just throwing this out because it's silly, but it seems big, he confronts Triple H and Gorilla, something big where it's like it's relaunching him in a way that like drives the fans crazy, because people do really like Kross. And it's like, oh man. But the thing is, you got to book him in a way where he wins matches and he actually matters a damn.
Exactly.
As opposed to, the stuff that they were doing with him kind of before, even with Sammy. So I don't know. It's a tricky situation. Either, we'll see. Maybe it's a matter of, hey, we're going to let your contract expire, but we're kind of also going to see what what happens, and then, the doors open for you guys. The wrestling industry is weird like that too.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows. So,
Yeah, nobody knows. We'll find out at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we get to our Raw recap, let's talk about a few Friendo Club topics.
We're in the middle of our August predictions right now. SummerSlam's night 1 and 2, those are in the books. But we've got, I don't know about if it's all up to Cody. If he's going to do the Triple Mania predictions, I don't know. And if he doesn't, that's totally cool. That dude does a lot for our predictions. Yeah. But at the very least, we'll have Forbidden Door, and then the other thing,
Clash in Paris.
In Paris still. And if you guys want to get in on the predictions challenge still, put us all on notice. You could do that right now by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson, clicking on the Friendo Club setup there, or clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Either way you do it, it's $5 a month. We also have bonus episodes that have come back on a monthly basis. The next one is going to happen right after Clash in Paris, but we've got like an hour and 19-minute long bonus episode where we talk about, some of the some of the things we got to think about as content creators when WWE, for example, brings a guy like Brock Lesnar back to their programming, or whenever they do something that we're like, man, WWE's going to WWE, the process we go through as content creators who rely on this content for our jobs. I don't know, that was a pretty interesting conversation. Plus, we answer a shit ton of questions from the friendos out there. Also, part of the Friendo Club setup is the question threads. Of course, we have a bunch of questions that we're going to read at the end of this episode. So, yeah, there you go. Let's talk about Raw, man.
Let's talk about Raw. So, they're trying to fill out this card for Clash in Paris. So we were kind of wondering, what does the calculus look like as far as Seth Rollins defending that World Heavyweight Championship at that particular show? Is it going to be against Punk? Is it going to be against LA Knight? Somebody else answer it. And we talked about the idea of some sort of multi-man match, and that ended up being the correct answer, because after a huge brawl breaks out after the main event, this tag match where it sees Punk and LA Knight team up against Braun and Bronson injury specialists, Adam Pearce comes out and makes a fatal four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash at Paris. And even beyond people referring to Seth's group as the Seth Riders, I can't help but think of another four-way match that happened earlier this year, which saw Seth's former stablemate Jon Moxley take on Jay White, Orange Cassidy, and Hangman Adam Page, with kind of a similar... I'm not trying to say that WWE's ripping AEW off. This is not the first time this story has been told in the world of pro wrestling, but the general idea of, well, if only people in WWE could work together, it'd be a piece of cake to vanquish the Vision. But egos and ambition get in the way.
Yeah.
And that's what's playing out here.
Yeah. I do think, though, in this case, and I don't think it's out of pocket at all to bring up parallel stories. Like you said, it's nothing new, but we can use the AEW version of this to kind of draw some parallels, or, some elements of it that...
Or highlight the differences.
Differences, yeah, thank you.
One important difference, of course, is that Mox saw what was going on, wanted the four-way match to take those fissures that were there between the other participants and drive wedges further between them. Whereas in this instance, Seth is like, no, I don't want to face three people. Like, that's one major difference. This isn't Seth seeing an opportunity to kind of divide and conquer here. This is him having a plan and having it kind of backfire.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of a big difference. I mean, one thing about the Mox thing was we were like, wait, Mox just willingly got himself into a match, gambling that these three guys aren't going to just team up and beat the living shit out of them first, so that they can then decide amongst themselves who's going to carry the AEW banner. And this is a match where even if that doesn't happen, he doesn't have to get pinned, and that title will just go away. They can brawl into the crowd, our favorite spot. And then meanwhile, there's two guys in the ring. One guy pins the other guy, and you're just sitting there watching like you're a fan. That can happen in a fatal four-way. In Seth's case, and I love the punctuating mark with Seth, because Adam Pearce starts it, and he's like, Jey Uso. And Seth's like, I see where you're going with this. And he says, LA Knight. And then Seth's like, because that's one thing that I appreciate about the Seth CM Punk thing. Seth kind of doesn't care as long as it's not CM Punk. And it was kind of the Hangman Swerve deal. Hangman didn't care as long as it wasn't Swerve. Mm-hmm. And I always like that. I think it's a great trope. It's as long as there's air in my lungs, you will never become champion. And I think that's a great thesis for a feud. And so Seth is now thinking, damn it, I don't even have to be pinned for CM Punk to get this title, and I've already cashed in. Mm-hmm. So he finds himself in a pickle. And yeah, I like it. I think it's good. I think it it's another world title shot for LA Knight, so it elevates him to that scene. And you say the opening promo is kind of not great. I just
said it was long.
It was long. Honestly, Heyman does nothing for me these days. But Punk and LA Knight, and Punk clearly gets a kick out of LA Knight.
Yeah.
And so them in the ring together, LA Knight is like, I'm sorry, CM Punk is Mr. Too Cool for School, and LA Knight comes out and it's the dorkiest line, but people eat this guy up. They love that shit. Like the red sunglasses he takes, though it's like non-color safe red that he's wearing in these sunglasses.
Yeah.
You take those off, you got night vision at that point because this the green just,
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got his steampunk vest
with the bright yellow shirt. It's just the most ridiculous look, but the people eat it up. You see this guy in the street,
said for delivery. It's the same with Punk. Like you could have Punk go out there and just, I don't know, read the most mundane stuff, but because his delivery is good, people are invested. I think part of it's the same with LA Knight. There's a certain amount of charm with him going out there and trying to remember what he's supposed to say.
Oh, dude, when he gets involved in stories where you have to remember this segment, oh, he gets lost, but he knows how to do it. Like he covers really well, and he's getting kind of better at it. Again, it's a reps thing. But yeah, it's three incredibly popular acts. Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, if you want to give kudos to WWE, this is a while ago. It was one of our hot takes threads. Somebody said something like, right now, WWE has more people consistently over on the roster than they have since the Attitude Era. And I kind of feel like that's true. Like they've got a lot of people who are very popular right now. Mm-hmm. So you can throw a Jey Uso and LA Knight and a CM Punk into a match with Seth Rollins. All four of these guys are supremely popular. And it feels like a big main event match. And I feel like I don't know what Cody's going to do in Paris. I mean, maybe Drew, I guess. Is
Drew.
The deal.
I would imagine since Drew attacked him on SmackDown. Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, I don't know what's going to main event, which is kind of an interesting thing at this point. I don't know. It's probably going to be Cody because he's Cody, but I don't know. You got Seth and Punk and LA Knight and Jey Uso.
Yeah.
What, that's going to open the match? I don't know.
It's entirely possible that main events too.
Yeah, I know. The star power is there.
Because it seems to be, I think there is maybe a concerted effort to start building up the World Heavyweight Championship, especially if they have any designs on that main eventing night 2 of Mania with Seth defending against CM Punk. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Because you can kind of see they want that to be the story.
Oh, yeah. The vision is going to, they want that to be their bloodline.
Yeah. With CM Punk being the one to take him down being the A story.
Well, dude, I'm kind of curious to see how Reign of Terror they go with the vision. Because Punk could take that thing off of Rollins at WrestleMania. Rollins would get it right back. Yeah. And you have your huge Mania moment. And that's the thing that I kind of appreciate about with Punk right now is that, they're telling this story. It's a longer term story. And he was the victim of a cash in. So it just goes right back off him. But Punk is playing ball with all this. It's not like he's saying, you're going to fast track me straight ahead to the world title scene, which in AEW kind of felt like as soon as he got there, this is the road we're on. And we were talking the other day about, what was the better run AEW. From a story perspective, I think 1,000% AEW was, and they had some really great matches there. But the fact that they've woven him so wonderfully into the fabric of all these other popular people in WWE, I really have enjoyed his WWE run as well, even though at times it feels a bit like a Walmart greeter. Oh, all you people, I love you, and you bring me here, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got off on a tangent there, but yeah, no, I think this is a solid, star-filled fatal four-way for Seth Rollins to retain the title, because we all know that's going to happen. But hopefully, there will be some story beats during the course of this match.
Yeah, I hope so. Other news coming out of Raw, Naomi, who was supposed to defend the Women's World Championship against Io Sky shortly before Raw began, it was announced that she was not medically cleared to compete, therefore match canceled. Still no news regarding the nature of the injury.
So evidently, there's a couple things that are kind of... So she was backstage at Raw. Mm-hmm. The reporting right now is nobody really knows exactly how long she was there, if she stayed for the entire time. Mm-hmm. On social media, she posted a silly clip of her riding her little scooter thing. And she hits like a little speed bump, like one of those little dividing things near like a garage or whatever, loading dock. And she starts to fall off of it, and it just cuts. And so the implication is she got injured doing that.
Yeah.
But then Stephanie Vaquer, in her segment with Io Sky, also is saying that she's out of a match now, which that match is 3 weeks or 2 weeks away, between 2 and 3 weeks away. And so it's like, okay, so seemingly Naomi's going to be out for at least that amount of time.
Could be. Yeah, we don't know.
There's a lot unknown here. It's kind of a strange situation.
Yeah, because they didn't, obviously give any specifics during the show last night, at least in terms of what the injury could be from a storyline perspective. They just said stay tuned, I think, to be social media accounts for further updates. Yeah,
and I saw somebody on social media say, and then WWE social media accounts say stay tuned to Raw for more updates. Also, it looks like Becky Lynch's Intercontinental Championship might have a title defense, I'm assuming maybe in Paris against Natalya, maybe, because it seems like they're going to that.
I thought it was her and Nikki Bella in Paris.
Oh, is that the thing?
Yeah.
Is that what they're going to do? What's this Natalya business all about then? Is that just going to be on Raw next week?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you're right about that. I forgot about the Nikki Bella stuff.
It's not officially announced, but I think that's where they were going with it.
That seems like it would be the case, yeah. Unless they're going to take that to bad blood. So, I don't know.
I suppose that could be possible.
In any event, let's just go ahead and dive into it. We'll talk about first the World Championship scene. CM Punk comes out. He says, it's great to be alive on a Monday night in Quebec City. He says, I've got a Seth Rollins problem because I should be world champion and I'm not. He says, Seth is a visionary, but he can't see what's in front of his face. He's trying to be me and he's failing miserably. He says, you see, SummerSlam, I climbed to the top for the first time in 12 years, became a champion in this company. He says, but I feel like I let you down because I'm not champion. But if you thought I was relentless before, after holding it in my hands, I'm even more possessed to regain that title. They say don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't hate the game because I did it. But I hate Seth Rollins. You pretended to be CM Punk and pretended to be injured to let everybody's guard down. Here's another promise. I'm going to take that title back, and I'm going to break your legs. So that brings out, CM Punk. And so...
LA Knight.
Sorry, brings out LA Knight. LA Knight, CM Punk comes out to face off with CM Punk.
Is that Raw Gate up there at the entrance ramp?
CM's Punk. So LA Knight offers up his hand to Punk to shake it. So they do. So they're friends for now. And he says, you got something to say? He's like, of course I do. Let me talk to you. Dummy, yeah. He says, SummerSlam, the whole world knows you were robbed. You became world champion once more. He says, I want to tell you, you deserve beyond a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. You should get your rematch. Yeah. Punk says, yeah. He says, but last week, he has to tell the story here. I'm having my match. Nothing to do with you. And what do? You come on down and you're talking about you can't contain yourself. You attack Seth. He says, and you talk about. That's his like when he loses himself. He says, you talk about. Yeah. He says, you get me DQ'd. Now I lose my opportunity. I understand it, but it's wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. He says, now we don't have a problem and I want to keep it that way. but I'm going to need you. Go if you want to go get Seth whoop his ass, you got to do it. Want to talk about, do it on your time. After the bell rings. At this point, you deserve your rematch, but you get yours after I get mine.
Punk responds. He says what you should be saying essentially is thank you for saving your career, because Seth was going to end it after, if he had stomped your head on the pavement or the concrete like a coconut.
Yeah.
Punk also says, I'm a former world champ, something you can't claim. So when it comes to who gets a shot, I'm the number one contender. Get to the back of the line.
I hate when people point out that LA Knight hasn't been world champion.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of a low shot there. This guy grinded for 20 years
I know.
to get to WWE.
World champ in Impact. Did he ever win the NWA title? I know he's TV champ.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or their mid-card national title, whatever one it is. So LA Knight says, I hope you get what you wanted. A few people said thank you, but for me, what I want to say to you doesn't have a thank you in front of it, if you know what I mean. You've been a champion, is long overdue, and you're right. I haven't been champ here yet, but I'm way overdue. There are levels to this, like you said, and best of the world, you aren't on mine. We don't have a problem. I want to keep it that way, so I'm going to do you 2 favors. I'll forget last week happened as long as you don't step over the line. Favor number 2, I'll go beat Seth, become World Heavyweight Champion, and you could be my first successful title defense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Punk says, oh, you're going to do me a favor. He says, in the spirit of not having any problems or bad blood, I got a Seth Rollins problem, and so do you. So listen, partner, I'm the best in the world. And then he gets interrupted, and he says, I wasn't done yet. So Paul Heyman and his dudes come out. No Seth Rollins, though. And he says, he talks some shit to the French speakers in the crowd. And he says, take it from me, LA Knight, don't get into the favor business with CM Punk. You start trading favors with that man, it will cost you everything in life. It'll cost you self-respect, your position. It'll cost you half your life. It'll cost you your tribal chief. And Punk says, you're going to piss your pants all night, big baby? Somebody's getting punched in the face. If you want to hit me to hit either of your double chins or one of the Brawns, come on down. And Heyman sort of laughs, says, I did cheat you well all these years. That's one hell of an idea. Let's do it tonight. Punk and LA Knight versus the future of WrestleMania, Braun Breaker, and the owner of the Shula Fala, the tribal thief, Big Bronson Reed, and the challenges for tonight. And so... well,
it's funny because Punk looks at LA Knight and just goes, no.
Yeah. And Knight says, I'm not sure if you can get it through your big bloated head. And then Punk interrupts, says, he says, you know what? He says, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And Knight's like, whoa, you don't speak for me. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And so and then Braun Breaker starts talking shit. He was like, what are you doing to do to me? You're 47 years old. You're 40. You got 100 years combined between two of you.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
He's a hothead. It's pretty good. So then later on, we get a Bronson Reed video package. He says, I want to get something off my chest. I became a star because I attacked Seth and earned his respect. But Roman, I don't want your respect. I'm reading online that I schoolyard bullied you, that I punked you out like a 5th grader not once, but twice. The only time it hasn't happened is because you haven't manned up. But when you will, I'll add to my collection. We'll continue until you acknowledge your tribal thief, Tsunami.
Then we get Jey Uso, and he had family obligations last week. That's why he wasn't there. Because Jackie's like, hey, so what's up with you not being there last week? Everybody was chanting, yeet. And he said, it hurt me. I miss Raw. I had to handle some family business. I had family obligations. He said, but receipts are coming. Bronson on notice. Seth on notice, because I'm going to get my rematch. Then LA Knight walks up. And he's like, speaking of on notice, a lot of people are saying it's convenient you didn't show up last week. Not me, though. He pulls that card out. A lot of people are saying that you didn't show up. I'm not saying that. A lot of people are. Anyways, he says maybe you want to get out of Roman's shadow. He says, but you're not going to get that world title shot. That line starts behind me, yeah. And then they just trade catchphrases. And then Jackie says, a little tension backstage over here. And I'm just looking at LA Knight's eyes, and I'm like, God, the red is just searing his fucking rods and cones, man.
Yep. So then we got the Vision backstage. Braun is warming up for the tag match main event. Seth's back there, and he says, it's been an incredible week. We're on top of the world. I came to this dump of a town expecting to deal with the CM Punk problem, but it turns out he has an LA Knight problem. LA Knight has a CM Punk problem. And the two of them have a Braun problem on their hands. I have no problem at all stepping aside. He says, I'm going to get on the jet. Heyman, Oracle, Wi-Fi is going to be on. Hit me up. It's your night. I'm out of this dump. Go stack some bodies.
Yeah, a little shades of Bloodline right there. The backstage segment, I like that.
Hitting the jet. No mention of steak or sushi or mahi.
I wonder what is Seth a vegan? You think Seth is a vegan?
No, he's not.
He's not.
No vegan. So.
No vegan for Seth.
I don't think so.
But yeah, a little bit. I like, we do have a little bit more of the character dynamic here. I think Braun is still a little bit one dimensional, but I think if they start talking a little bit more, get their own motivations, like, Bronson Reed, he's a sneakerhead. I appreciate though. Go ahead.
I was saying, but specifically, he just wants Roman Reigns' kicks.
Yeah,
he didn't take Jay's last night. Usually Jay wears Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
He didn't take Jay's kicks. He takes Roman's because there's just a little extra stank on taking Roman's kicks.
Oh, yeah, he's a tribal chief.
He's the one that got the deal with Jordan Brand too. Roman does.
Yeah. I got to tell you this, man. I had I had some analysis paralysis while I was in LA. I went to the Shoe Palace there on Hollywood and Highland.
Yeah.
And then they also got a decent Foot Locker over there. And they had a bunch of the Spizikes.
Yeah.
And those are beautiful. I love those shoes. They're so gorgeous. And they had the black one with the orange all over it.
Yeah.
But then they also had one that had more traditional Jordan colors, like kind of white, off-white, and red,
Uh-huh.
I didn't get any.
Couldn't do it, though?
They also had a pair of the Agassiz, but in a different colorway, the Mets colors.
Yeah.
Didn't get any of them.
Wow. Was it?
Yeah.
Were there any good deals?
No, not really. They're all retail price,
Yeah,
so I'm like, maybe
location.
I can go to the outlets and find this. I don't know. I mean, I got my pink Agassiz for $60, which is crazy because they're all retail for like $1.20.
I go to the outlets on a fairly regular basis, and I don't remember ever seeing the Spizikes. Maybe on the return wall.
Oh yeah, maybe
from time to time, but hardly ever actually on the racks.
Those the black and orange ones. Oh man, I got enough white shoes. I do need like a black pair, and I got my eye on those. So we'll see.
Okay,
but yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyways, this tag match happened in a DQ. Punk hits the Macho Man elbow on Braun, I think. Rips off his shirt, calls for the GTS. Seth runs down the ring and attacks him. So then the beatdown commences from the Vision. Jey Uso runs down with the chair to try to make the save, and it seems like they got the ring cleared out, but nah. So Pierce comes out and makes the four-way match.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And says it's official. And then LA Knight and Punk just start arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And then they start throwing hands.
Yeah.
And so the Vision attacks again. They lay everybody out. We got some tsunamis, a spear, and then the show ends with the Vision standing tall.
Yep. When are they going to get some T-shirts, that Vision?
I don't know.
Or a logo.
What should the shirt look like? Should it have Marvel's The Vision on it?
That's kind of a bit of a violation,
I mean, they come to an agreement.
Yeah.
WWE's on ESPN now. ESPN's owned by Disney, as is Marvel.
Okay,
there we go.
Are the other members of the Vision on the shirt too? Are they all dressed like Vision?
Sure.
On top of that, his name is simply Vision, not The Vision. It'd be like if a group was called the Steve, and then you asked, well, is Steve going to be on the shirt? I'm just Steve, not the Steve. As much as I'd like to think.
Maybe they're going to try to do something weird with like the grammar of it, and then the plural Vision is The Vision.
Maybe. Oh, it's like multiple androids. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like eyes. Eye chart. And it says, "How's your vision? What one or two?
What's
or one?
The vision?
2 or 3? 1 or 3?" I love that bit in Arrested Development when Michael Cera's character just starts freaking out because he's doing the eye test and he can't answer any of the questions. Because that's how I was.
When they do that, they're just like, I don't know. I can't really tell a difference.
I got to a point where I was just honest with them. You know? Because
I'd be like, I'm like, I don't know.
I'd start waffling and they'd be like, or is there not much of a difference? Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
Well,
they give you like 2 seconds. 1, 2.
It's so much. It's so much.
1, 2.
I'm like, I don't know. Can I think about this?
Not much of a difference. 2, 3. 2, 3. Maybe 3.
Yeah, probably 3.
3, 4. 3, 4.
It's like Schrodinger's eye test. It's like, well, I'm observing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 3 or 4, though.
I don't know if this is an accurate eye test or not.
Like, we'll find out when I get my
Is this
glasses.
test helping me or hurting? Is this test helping or hurting my vision in the long run?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Apparently
That's why I
both
got
at
the
same
lasers
time.
in my eyes, but apparently that's supposed to be wearing off soon. My night vision is terrible, by the way. My night vision.
I think that's part of
dog
getting
shit.
older.
I think
Yeah,
you're right
that's part
about
of
that.
getting
Oh,
older, yeah.
also now I'm like my near sight is terrible. Also, it's all bad. It's all
You
bad.
need some reading glasses.
I have several pairs. Yeah, I look so old with them on. Anyways,
Let's talk about the Naomi situation. So early, basically, like the first thing in the show, they announced Naomi's not medically cleared. Her match against Io was off. So later on, we see Io backstage talking to Adam Pearce. And she's like, I understand, but I want the match I was promised. And Pearce says, I want the match to happen too, but Naomi's not cleared. But as soon as I know something, I'll pass it on. So Raquel and Roxanne walk up and say, good thing there's no match. You might lose again. Maybe you could talk about some opportunities for us. And Io says, I came here to fight, so maybe I can fight her, and points at Roxanne. Pearce says, great idea, it's official. Io says, I'll see you tonight. So she's heading to the ring, is met by Asuka and Kairi, and they wish her luck and be like, hey, we can come out and be in your corner, because Raquel's going to be out there with Roxanne. And Io says, no, I'm good. They hug, her music hits, she makes her entrance. So, of course, there's a point where Raquel interferes. Asuka and Kairi run to ringside to try to help. And they're actually holding Roxanne up while the ref is distracted with Raquel. And Io runs over there to hit Roxanne. Roxanne moves, so then Io nearly hits Asuka and Kairi. This allows Roxanne opportunity to roll up. Sorry, she shoves Io into them and then rolls Io up for the win. So later on, we're backstage. Io says so they're all talking, Io, Asuka, and Kairi, and Io says, you didn't help me, I lost. So they're arguing, and Asuka gets mad and shoves her and walks out. And Kairi's like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Ooh,
She didn't say that. That was her body language, though.
yeah, it was awkward as shit.
Yeah. And then
It's like that
goes,
time you and Hilton, almost got it on, and then I was like, oh, I feel so awkward right now. I love both these guys.
I mean, there's actually, this was actually captured on camera. There's no evidence that actually happened.
But then when that happened, I was like, well, one of these guys is going to be my podcast partner. The other guy's Hilton.
You're like, whoever wins.
Exactly. Yeah. I will align with.
So then later on, Io's backstage. Stephanie Vaquer walks up and she says, you're not the only one who was promised a title match. And then Rhea walks in and says, I'm sorry, I was looking forward to you facing Naomi. But then you got this match with Roxanne. And then Io says, Roxanne shouldn't have beat me. And Rhea says, yeah, you should have beat her. Asuka and Kairi should have listened to you. I know they're your friends, but can you trust them? And Io's like, nah, you can stop with that. I know what you're saying. I don't appreciate it. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
So then she walks off.
But she also, like, Rhea understands Io's pretty conflicted here. She's in a bad spot, and she's like, I think I might have done more damage than good, because she was just trying to help. And I think she understands Io understands that. But she's like, I got enough going on right now.
Yep.
Because I know your game, Rhea. All you want to do is beat me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is it going to be like shit, are they going to do like Kabuki Warriors versus Io and
Rhea?
Rhea?
A can they coexist story with Rhea and Io?
Yeah, you got one guy, Rhea, who's like, I want to beat this person, but at the same time, she's also my friend. They kind of established they're friends, but it's like, I haven't beat you ever. What the hell? Friends,
but also rivals.
Yeah, frenemies.
Yep. So Becky defended the Intercontinental title against Maxine Dupree. She's accompanied to the ring by Natalya and Tozawa. Becky dominates a good portion of this match. At one point, though, Maxine does kind of get the upper hand. She looks for a sharpshooter, though. Becky blocks it, runs into a boot, gets rolled up. Becky kicks out at 2, reverses to roll up of her own, but grabs the bottom rope. Ref notices. So Maxine gets another pinning combination for a 2, and then Becky just rolls into a disarmer to get the win.
Yes. Yeah.
She was yelling at Maxine, get out of my ring.
Yeah.
You don't belong in here with me. Get out of my ring. Yeah, then Maxine actually had used that. Kind of did a bit of a ruse where she acted like she's going to walk out of the ring and only to, I think, hit Becky with a hip toss or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, according to Wikipedia, anyways, the Becky and Nikki thing hasn't been made official. I'm kind of surprised they didn't address that at all, but still plenty of time.
Yep.
Sami Zayn looks like he's in a thing now with Rusev because we had Sami talking with Pierce. Now, Sami's determined to become world champion, but given how clogged that scene is, good luck with that, Sami. He was like, hey, I want to talk to you about Clash in Paris. He's like, I'm tired of talking about it. I want to be champion. And Pierce is like, all right, listen, you got Rusev tonight. Let's just get through tonight, and then we'll talk later. He's like, okay, fair enough. And then Sheamus walks in, and Pierce is like, oh, Sami, I'm glad you're here for this conversation. He says, listen, Sheamus, whatever it is with you and Rusev, we can't have that happen again. Sheamus says, oh, who'll stop me? And Sami says, look, I know you got your problems with Rusev, but please, I need this as a friend. Please don't get involved. And Sheamus is like, all right, fine. But when that match is over, that big Bulgarian bastard is mine. So then we had that match. But then we had... what happened
Bad
here?
Bloodline interfere and pull Sami out after he
right.
hits Rusev with an exploder in the corner. He set up for a haluva kick.
Yeah.
So Tonga Loa and JC pull Sami out of the ring. Solo and Tala Tonga appear. Tala hits the boot. So Sami gets the win via DQ because I guess Sami was on SmackDown Friday and had a match against JC, I think.
Yeah. Something like that.
So I guess maybe they're going to do a thing where Sami gets moved over to SmackDown and he's going to challenge Cody for that title.
Oh, that could be, yeah. Yeah, that could be.
So then Rusev gets up and Sheamus shows up, hits him with a knee. Security pours out to break him up. Sheamus just beats him up. They're trading hands. Sheamus gets dumped over the barricade, and they're brawling up through the crowd.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So then Sami's helped up, and fans are singing to him while we get the replay. So then we get the MFTs backstage. They're being let out by Pierce, who's on his phone in security. And a ref runs up and says, hey, we finally separated Sheamus and Rusev. And Pierce just says, make sure.
Yeah, he laid into him a little bit. And he was on the phone with Aldis. He was like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Aldis just
so then New Day walk up and say, Penta must be stopped. Wood says, he threw my hat, which cost $12,000, and tried to decapitate me with it. And Pierce says, if you got a problem with him taking your sombrero, then take it up with him next week. You'll have a match. Good, great. Now I have work to do. Don't follow me.
Yeah. And they're steamed.
And Woods is like, it wasn't a sombrero.
Not a sombrero. I mean, it's kind of, all respect to sombreros. They're great hats. But this was like a $12,000 fancy pants hat.
Yeah.
Had more place in like a fashion runway show of some sort. We also had this. This was cool. I like this. This was really well done. So we had a Bailey video package. It was really well filmed. And she's like, and it's crazy because like she really just used her regular voice. There is a slight difference between like seemingly this voice and like what we usually get from her. Just even a normal voice, talking way. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's, I'm not exactly sure how to start this, but I don't know how to go from here. So I've been doing this for almost 13 years and I've never felt this way. She says, in a way, I want more, but feel less. She said, I want more and I feel nothing. She said, I think it's my fault. In my career, the role model meant something before I called myself that, and I was treated as one before I saw myself as one. I saw that I could be an asset. I could be the person people to look up to. She says, but now I'm here by myself. I feel everything leading up to where I am has gotten me nowhere. She says, I sit here without nothing to show you. No titles, no wins. I can't remember when I felt proud of myself. And it's my fault. It's all my fault. And then they do sort of kind of like a little montage where you hear like some remnants and whispers of her old like cackling voice. So it seems like we're going to get bad guy Bailey, but I wonder if this is going to be a little bit of a different variation than, or if they're going to go full on Joker Bailey or something stupid like that.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
So then we got Lyra in an interview backstage with Jackie. And she's like, what do you think about that? And Lyra is feeling kind of guilty. She's like, God damn. I hope she's okay. She's like, I didn't know. She's like, it had nothing to do with me. I stand by what I said last week. I can't challenge for that title now, and that meant the world to me. She said, we need to go our separate ways, but none of that is my fault. She's on her own. But clearly she's pretty conflicted. She feels for Bailey, but she's like, she's got her own thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like that. It's a little bit, it's a depth there.
Finally here, AJ, of course, still feuding with Dom for the Intercontinental title. So early in the show, we see a replay of Dom beating up Dragon Lee last week. And then we're in the clubhouse. So Dom and El Grande Americano walk in, and everybody else is like, what is Americano doing here? And Dom says, well, we're discussing tag strategy for later. He's cool, I promise. And Finn pulls him aside and says, can we talk in private? Finn says, I'm good at reading the room, and the rest of the group doesn't trust him. Dom says, I can use him to my advantage and soften him up for Triple Mania. And Finn says, good idea. Maybe he can help you bring the Mega Championship to the clubhouse. And Dom's like, yeah, exactly. So then Dom and Americano walk off. They have their match, teaming up against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. A bit of good fortune was bestowed upon Dom Mysterio here, because when Americano was trying to load up that mask with the metal plate, AJ hits him with a kick. Plate falls to the floor right where Dom is. So at this point, like about halfway through the match, Dom put on the mask that he wears for his entrance. And so he puts the plate into his own mask. AJ is rolled up and then gets pushed into the loaded mask that Dom's wearing. So then Americano rolls him up to get the win.
Yeah, it was a pretty clever finish there.
It was.
That was pretty decent stuff.
Was.
And that's your Monday Night Raw review.
Indeed.
Raw cap. All right. It's time to answer some questions now. Of course, we post these for the Friendo Club setup Friendos. Charlie Black said, where do you see this Kabuki Warriors Io Sky story going? Kind of already mentioned that I think there's going to be a Rhea Io team up here against the Kabuki Warriors, perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe.
Go ahead.
Sebastian Garcia says, besides your age, how would Braun Breaker insult you guys?
I mean, in what way wouldn't he?
I mean, our general lack of athleticism would be a pretty easy way to make fun of us. I mean, he's apparently like great athlete.
I'm slow.
4.37 40. He times this to 40, and you're like, both of you plus 5 seconds. What's the deal here?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm so slow. Everything hurts. I'm not terribly witty. I rely on the most juvenile, asinine humor to get over. There's a lot going on here that he could rip into.
Same.
You know. Groovy Q says, will Bayley actually be a heel, or could they make her character more unhinged? Full Joker Sting Bayley.
Yeah.
That's what they should.
All right. Smurf Galloway here says, what is a random item you like to see as wrestling merch?
Wow. A random item. I mean, they have a lot of stuff. They got a toaster. They got a waffle maker.
Yeah, they got some pretty random stuff.
They have some random stuff.
Back when Sean Spears was the chairman of AEW, why not custom Sean Spears chairs?
Yeah. That's good. I mean, how about make it elaborate, like a Sean Spears branded Lazy Boy?
There you go.
You know, it's like outrageously expensive.
You got the high collar on the chair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's done in a way where you have to sit like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're cold.
Like you're cold. Did they do both the 10 collar and the cold?
Yeah.
Ninja says, who's your favorite current wrestler from each company, male and female? A Ninja says, for me, it's Io and Punk and Tony and Swerve.
Right now it's probably Tony and Page, Hangman Page from AEW.
Okay.
And then WWE. Wow.
From WWE, my favorite current female wrestler is probably Io still. It's probably Io. I'd say it's Io and LA Knight. And from AEW, it is Athena and Will Ospreay.
I guess from WWE, I'm really enjoying Becky's character work right now.
Yeah, Becky's a lot of fun. Becky's a ton of fun. And her in-ring
Trick
is
Williams.
so good.
Trick Williams.
Trick's good. Trick NA.
Yeah, Trick's been wildly entertaining since he won that TNA title.
Dave Matushek says, with ESPN interested in the rights to WWE's library. So apparently ESPN, or somebody in the know, said ESPN may be interested in acquiring the rights to the WWE library. He says, do you fear that censorship may play a part in a possible acquisition? I have no idea, but I'm kind of more concerned about what that means for the WWE vault. I would hope that any negotiation would be, hey, we're going to keep the stuff on the vault. That needs to be there, not messed with. Don't fuck with this.
Yeah.
You can have the library for your streaming service, but the vault, leave that alone. And I would hope that it's ESPN. They would want to provide most value. So they would actually have, at this point, a good marketing gimmick would be, hey, now we're going to have every episode of Raw, like we already did at one point, but how we haven't done that for a little while now.
Yeah. Mr. Sinister says, without answering because they're not Jordans, why didn't Bronson Reed take Jay's shoes if he's known as a tribal thief? Because he only takes Roman Reigns' shoes.
Yep. Art Guy says, was Jay added to this match so we could eat the pin? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
That's LA Knight's
LA Knight
job.
can eat a pin. Yeah, LA Knight can eat a pin. Yeah.
Jay is incredibly popular.
Yeah. Diehard Homer Greg Morris says, I'm going to Raw next week in Philly. Use your prediction champion skills on what matches I could see. Didn't they announce some matches for next week during the show?
Shit, if I know.
I thought they did.
I don't remember seeing the graphic, but it's entirely possible it was there.
Usually right before the main event, they might announce a match or two.
Oh, okay. Snowman says, will you guys be more unforgiving with WWE Creative now that it's even more expensive to follow it? No, the price of the product does not dictate how forgiving or unforgiving I am with the creative.
Yeah.
The quality of the creative is the only thing that I really care about.
Josh M. here says, WWE relying too much on interference. There hasn't been an episode with all clean finishes in many months. Are they not creative enough to write stories with clean pins?
Well, everything's a story device, and a wonky finish is a story device. I don't think that a clean finish is I love clean finishes. I think they're great. But I don't know. I don't need an episode of all clean finishes.
I view TV wrestling matches as a means to advance whatever feud or story they're telling and not self-contained bouts unto themselves.
Yeah.
Now, if this level of wonkiness, and especially DQ finishes, become a problem on premium live events, which it hasn't thus far, but if it did, that would be the issue.
Yeah, the PLEs are the place where blow-off matches happen, and blow-off matches, generally speaking, you got to have a
You don't want,
yeah.
you don't, yeah. I mean, essentially, WB and AEW television are elongated commercials to promote their premium live events.
Yeah, right.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
And so when you have an unsatisfying finish, the idea is, well, people now will plunk down money to see the actual finish.
Yeah. I that's the thing about the Monday Night War is hey, it was kind of cool that they would bring the heavy shit during, because they were trying to get those ratings. I think the one time when they were oh, why are you doing this? This is Hogan Goldberg. Then it was why did you do that?
Yeah.
That's money right there.
Alex Foster says, what's the kayfabe reason so many wrestlers want to be El Grande Americano? I think even in kayfabe, they realize that Americano's been getting a lot of TV time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's a coordinated thing. With Dunn and Bate, it might be. I was sad that we didn't get 2 and 3 this week. Just from an absurdist standpoint, I kind of like it now. It's kind of funny. It's oh, there's another guy. That's kind of funny. It's sort of strayed away from anything that it originally was. And now and Ludwig is so damn funny in that role. He's just so weird and goofy looking, So, I don't know.
You got any more questions over there?
I have literally no more.
All right. Let's see if we can find a good one to end on.
Is there any new names, any names that you don't recognize? Even if they've asked something that we've covered, I want to recognize them.
I don't recognize Tyler Scales. Says, who could legitimately take the title from Dom? His Intercontinental title run has legitimized that belt far beyond expectations, in my opinion.
I love this run for him. I really do.
Hopefully he gets that mega title, too.
I think there's one name. Yeah.
Makes the most sense. Finn makes the most sense.
Finn Balor, big push in 2025 this guy's going to get.
All right, I got a question here from Edward Munoz. Says, I know you guys typically abscond from politics if you can help it, but I've wondered for a while when it comes to social issues and takes regarding marginalized groups, how do you guys reach levels of understanding of acceptance and open-mindedness you two are at? Did it come down to good parents or education?
Wow, what a nice question. What a friendly question that was. Also pretty heavy. I'll be honest with you, like, I just sort of took the cue from my dad. Like, my mom came here. She's, I hope this doesn't get me deported, but she came here from Paraguay when she was 15, which was always like a really fucking inspiring thing because she's like one kid out of like 12. And she immigrated here when she was 15. And I literally have the receipts for her legal bills. My great aunt paid for them. And it was pretty pricey, to get all the, her to become, and then she became a citizen, I think when I was like 4. And so when I was born, my mom was not a citizen, which could get me deported, I think, in this day and age, Larson. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to start doing this from El Salvador, Paraguay. I don't know. But between her story and honestly, just like the way my parents lived, with compassion and an understanding that there are a lot of people in this country and those people are not always treated the same. I think, just trying to understand how people are and what they go through. And, I think it's my parents. It's my parents.
Yeah. Same here.
Also being around, I also think that like being in LA, there's so much culture there. There's so much, and being around other people from other cultures just gives you a wonderful perspective. And man, it's just too many people that just can't put themselves in the shoes of others in a real way, and we're lucky to have had the opportunities that our parents, offered up to us. And so it just seems like anybody with any sort of moral fiber, you'd like to think, hey, it's such a shitty thing to dehumanize anybody. Yep. And there's too much of that these days. There's
really
way
is.
too much of that.
There's way too much of it these days. Yeah.
So there you go. That's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.